My best friend, Rachel Larratt, wanted to come on VINwiki to talk about her race experiences and her experiences with Mischief. She's been with the Mischief series for over 20 years. But recently, she's best known as being one of the main characters on the YouTube channel Savage Garage. She's the girl with all the tattoos. Unfortunately, she passed away in 2022 and she wasn't able to come on VINwiki. I'm here to give you a little background of what she's done, and I wanted to talk about Mischief's involvement with Savage Garage and all the crazy things we did with those guys. And the most fun we had in our friendship was those last 3 years. You know, how Savage Garage started and all that, that's not my story to tell. But first, I want to just talk about Rachel. We met through mutual rally friends in 2004, and that's what we did. And in the early 2000s, you find the people you click with on these rallies. And it's for us, with Dado, my driver, we'd always hang out with the fastest drivers. And then we could become friends before social media. Let's go on this rally. So we'd have our own group of people and we'd go on that rally, and Rachel became one of those people. We'd meet up a couple times a year, and then we just became really, really good friends. In 2006, she raced her Lotus in the La Carrera Panamericana. This was a 2,000-mile trek across Mexico over 7 days. This is her first taste of competing in a series like this. And she ended up placing first in her class. She placed first in exhibition, and she placed 10th overall. She's done some racing with Lotus USA. She had a white Lotus Exige. This was all in 2006. 2007, she was diagnosed with MS. So her racing career was over. Didn't stop her from hanging out and doing car stuff. She could still drive, but just the long endurance races she could no longer do. As soon as our last DVD came out in 2009, I've been trying to relaunch Mischief. I was here talking about in 2012, we're getting ready to relaunch Mischief with this one drive, ended up on the cover of the Washington Post, and all these setbacks. Dado, our main character, has 3 kids. My brother has a kid. And everybody's settling down, and nobody was really doing anything. It was hard for them to get away for a week. In 2019, me and Rachel were talking, like, we really want to get back into covering rallies and doing the stuff we did back in the day in our DVDs, cover car events, starting to get back into document car culture. And in 2019, she bought a C63 507 edition. We started hitting local shows, and one day we're at Katie's Cars and Coffee, one of the nicest cars and coffee in the DC area. This blonde-headed kid came up to us, introduced himself as Jimbo, and he used to be Rob Ferretti's editor in New York. And he's like, hey, I'm moving back to the DC area. He recognized me because of the hair. Rachel was actually friends with Rob Ferretti from back in the day. And we just started hanging out, and he's like, I'm getting ready to start this YouTube channel with this rich guy named Randy Tillum. We're like, oh, great, this will be cool. He's gonna be in the area, and we have some cool people to hang out with. In 2019, we actually didn't see much of Jimbo or Randy because they were starting their Savage Garage channel. So they were busy building up their content and fan base, and me and Rachel were doing our own thing. It wasn't until March of 2020 that Randy invited me and Rachel out to an official Savage Garage event. He rented part of Summit Point Raceway. He rented the drift track, wanted to teach everybody how to drift, the basics. So he hired these 2 guys, Dan and Doug, to train us in these drift missiles, these junk cars. And actually, we brought our weapon. We had Dado, and we had to dust him off because Dado hasn't drifted in like 15 years. So we're hoping he still has it in him. We brought him to this event, and Dado got to swing Rachel's Mercedes around, and just like the old days. It was great to see them out there. We all had a great time. It was like, cool, this might be a start of something. And then bam, lockdowns, because this was March of 2020. So like everywhere else, all car shows and car events were pretty much canceled in the first half of 2020. Summer came around, and the Cars and Coffee, everything that was outside started opening up again. Me and Rachel started going out with Randy and the Savage Garage crew. And then one day we went to Randy's house with the cameras off, have a couple beers, and just get to know each other. We're all getting along because Randy's a businessman. Rachel has her own businesses, and we just hit it off. I didn't even know that Randy was a professional chef. And he was a chef for the Clintons on holiday parties at the White House. Who knew? And a lot of people didn't know that Rachel owned BME Zine. It was like an online magazine for modified people. Actually started with her late husband in 1994. That's why she's all tattooed up. She was really big in that scene. It was really cool to just talk like normal friends with the cameras off. A couple weeks later, Randy called us up and said, hey, would you do the Gold Rush Rally with us? Me and Rachel were so happy because we wanted to go back to our roots and cover rallies again. and hang out with cool car people. And now we're invited to do this rally. I've never done a Gold Rush out of 20 years of covering exotic car rallies. And this was September 2020. All the hotels and stuff are starting to open up after the lockdowns. This is a 2-part rally out west. We did both legs. In our DVDs, we would cover a rally, and like on the gumball, me and Dado would be in one car. And you finish the rally in that one car. And I think every rally we've covered, the car we started and we end up finishing, except the Mondeo. But that's a whole other thing. The main goal in rallies is to finish the rally no matter what. But we've been lucky and finished in the same car we started in. But we'd only have one car. We never had a backup car. Doing a rally with Savage Garage was doing a rally in a fleet of cars. I'm talking about $3 million worth of cars. We had a Pagani, we had a Koenigsegg, we had SVJ. I think it was the highest mileage SVJ in the United States at that time. I think I had like 29,000 miles. Jimbo brought some sketchy S65 that he bought for 10 grand in New York like a week before with no title or plates. And then they had a G63 luggage truck. Not only that, they had this guy Eric in a transporter. It was like an F450 dually, with a specialized 2-car trailer with Savage Garage on the side. It was specialized because it was built for the hypercars. So the sides would open up to allow you to get out of the Koenigsegg and the Pagani. This is unbelievable. Me and Rachel were super excited because now we're back documenting rallies like the old days, but now we're doing it in a fleet of all these amazing cars. And we went out there, it was like 9 days. We all got along, had a great time. And I'm telling Rachel, it's like, I really like these guys because we've been dealing with car people for 20 years. And once we're hanging out with them and you get to know them and they treat their fans like crap, or when the camera's off, they're complete a-holes. If fans come up to Randy and with the cameras off, they'll sit there, talk to them, let them sit in their cars. They're like, we really like these guys. We get back from 2 weeks on the road. A week later, Randy's like, hey, we have the Savage Rally. We want you guys to come out again and help us out. I'm like, yeah, we can do that. And Savage Rally was basically the Savage Garage Rally, but Savage Rally is owned by a different company. Randy brings all his cars out. And this rally started in Miami, so he had most of his cars there. He had a collection of like 30 cars. But he brought like 10 cars out for this rally. Now that, not officially part of Savage Garage, but I'm hanging out and helping them drive their cars, we're getting assigned cars per day. So he's like, Dustin, today you're driving the RS6 that just came out. The first RS6 delivered in the United States. Dustin, you're driving the RS6 for day one. And then at lunchtime, now I'm driving Randy's Diablo. I'm like, this is crazy. The next day I'm driving the Wraith. And I'm just a Wraith. And I'm telling my dad this, and he's trying to comprehend exactly, what I'm doing. He's like, how do you sign up for something like this? That you're driving just all these nice cars just to help out. After that rally was over, this was probably about December of 2020. Savage Garage was getting ready to pack up in Maryland and move to Miami for the winter. They filmed down there while it's cold in DC. I don't blame them. And me and Rachel get a text message from Randy asking to become part of Savage Garage. We were like, hell yeah. But the only problem is I couldn't make that move to Miami in a week notice. Later on in 2021, Rachel became the YouTube manager for Savage Garage. She basically saved Savage Garage. Came in there, cleaned everything up. She was making the channel better. At this time, they had about 600,000 subscribers, and she was hoping to get me hired sometime in May or June of 2022. I was going to launch a clothing company called Savage Mischief, and it was a collaboration with apparel. We had a lot of plans going on for 2022. In 2021, Randy told me he was looking for his Chevelle. The Chevelle that he drove in high school is a manual Chevelle. He wanted to buy that exact same car, buy it back, and restore it, and he could never find it. So he actually found one being restored that was almost identical to his Chevelle. And when we got back from being on the road for about 3 weeks on the Savage Rally, the car was delivered to his house. It was delivered on like a Thursday night or a Friday morning. He got the car registered at the MVA because we were filming. This is Friday. We were getting ready to film the car on Saturday and Sunday. And he was so excited about this. Gets the car registered, and he passes away at 7:30 that night. The morning Randy passed away, Rachel's mother-in-law passed away in hospice, and she was from the same area. So Rachel was dealing with that in the morning. Randy got the car registered, and then the accident happened in the house, and it was a total shock to everybody. Sunday, we go over to Randy's house to comfort the family. Monday, the lawyers came in, fired everybody from Savage Garage. They couldn't talk about anything, like what happened. And basically, Rachel was kicked to the curb. And they cut her off from the family. She wasn't allowed to contact the wife or kids. Savage Garage was Rachel's family. And she's been with them for like almost 3 years. They live 4 miles away, and she was at the house every single day. And they cut her off. There's no explanation of what happened because nobody can talk about it. And the family's not releasing anything about how Randy passed away. So of course, all the rumors are spreading, and it was a terrible time. There was a Gold Rush rally later on that year, and they were going to do a tribute to Randy in Savage Garage. Jimbo, Blake, and Rachel were going on the rally. They asked me if I wanted to go, and I wanted to go, but it's hard to take so much time off to do a rally like that. I wasn't prepared for it. They were all ready to go. I really wish now, of course, that I went. They went on the rally, and everybody told me that Rachel looked so happy, was having the time of her life. And when the rally ended in Florida, instead of driving or trailering or flying back to Maryland, she decided to drive her, she had an AMG GT at the time. She drove it to the Carolinas, saw some friends, crashed with them. Next day, drove up to Maryland to her fiance's house. And then she spent the rest of the day with her fiance, watching movies and stuff. She went to bed and never woke up. So all the stress from everything that happened over the course of a few months, she had a heart attack. Everything it was too much for her. And she never got to explain her side of the story. I just wish she was here in my place telling her stories. And she wasn't just some random tattoo girl that likes cars that was on the Savage Garage channel. There was a time where she was recovering from some kind of surgery that involved chemo. She was working for a nonprofit church group with disaster relief and recovery. 2 hurricanes that went through St. Thomas, 2 weeks from each other, destroyed everything. She moved there for 7 months to help them rebuild, helped FEMA get in there with supplies. She did all this while recovering from chemo. Nobody knows that. She's done a lot of charity stuff like that, and nobody knew that with Savage Garage. She's just a tattoo girl that's probably dating Randy on Savage Garage. It's just, well, I don't know, so much emotions. She was such an awesome person, and I'm just glad that we spent our last few years together doing what we did when we first knew each other, as covering rallies and just enjoying life with car people and just having the best time.
What do you say, everybody? That's right. This is how we do it. Everybody stay savage!
Right now, we've got the greatest offer we've ever had from Avalon King. Their AS9 DIY ceramic coating is now just $59.99. That's $20 off. And for the first 100 people today to click the link in the description below, they're going to get a free bottle of the Armor Shield Light, a $34.99 value included. Now, what we love about this is that it has the same hydrophobic properties that we love about the ceramic coating, but it's so much easier to work with and use whenever you need just a spot or whatever cleaning up, like you would a quick detail in the Armor Shield Light. And if your car is already coated, this will sort of energize and rejuvenate the coating to make it perform even better. So check them out now at the link in the description below to get yours today.